Part 2 about why I made my boyfriend stop being friends with his girl best friend. So like I said, they had been forced to work together on a school project. At least that's what he told me. So I brushed it off because I was not about to seem like the jealous girlfriend. Well, the next day, him and I were supposed to go out to the movies. So I texted him right before we were about to leave, and I said, "Hey, are you on your way to get me?" He goes, "OMG, no, I'm sorry, I forgot. I have to work with Addie on this project. She's about to come over my house." So at this point, I'm like really pissed off. So I text him and I say, "I thought you guys had a whole week to work on this project. Why does it have to be tonight?" Addie knew that him and I were supposed to go to the movies that night also. He said, "We just want to get it done really quickly so that way I can spend the rest of the week with you." And she's snapping me the whole time that she's at his house off of his phone. So at around 1:30 a.m., I get a Snapchat from her on his account, and she's laying on his chest. Like for part 3. Part 3 about why I made my boyfriend stop being friends with this girl best friend. So like I said, she snaps me at 1:30 in the morning, a picture of her laying on his chest, and it's captioned, "Hey girlie, I hope you don't mind, but I have to spend the night at his house. He lost track of time working on our project, and it's way too late for him to take me home." So at this point, I'm furious, and I don't snap her back. So the next morning, I call my boyfriend. And I asked him, "Hey, is Addie still there?" So he says yeah, and then I ask him to put me on speakerphone. So when he does, I say hi to Addie. She goes, "OMG, hey girl, how are you?" And that's when I pretty much go off on this bitch. I tell him that while he was asleep, she was sending me pictures of her laying on top of him off of his Snapchat, and that she was sending those type of pictures to multiple people on his Snapchat because my best friend had texted me that morning saying that she thought that we broke up because Addie was sending her pictures of her laying on top of him. So I tell him, "Pick, me or her." And she starts
A real conversation I had with one of my friends while I was doing her nails. Okay, so no acrylics. Just your natural nails? Yeah, short and natural. Okay. So what color and design do you want? That is a design and you are going to have to pay extra for that like a normal person would. Yeah, sure, whatever. Also, I want them to be super long. I can't make them short and natural and make them long and rainbow.
In middle school, I had this bully, Kevin, and he was a dick. He came up with this horrible nickname for me in 7th grade. My name's Lydia, and Kevin would call me Lydia Chlamydia. In 7th grade, I didn't even know what chlamydia was, but I knew it wasn't good. And not only did Kevin call me that, but he got other kids to start calling me Lydia Chlamydia too. But luckily, the nickname only lasted a year. By 8th grade, everyone had forgotten about it. Except for me. I never forgot. And all through high school, I was paranoid that someone would remember the nickname and start calling me Lydia Chlamydia again. So fast forward like 13 years. It's Friday night, and I'm out at a bar in LA. I'm ordering a tequila soda, extra lime, and I feel someone tap me on the shoulder. And I turn around, and lo and behold, it's Kevin. He's like, "Hey, Lydia, do you remember me? We used to go to middle school together. I called you Lydia Chlamydia." I was like, "Yes, I do, Kevin." He's like, "I'm really sorry about that, and I'm a little tipsy right now, and I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but my senior year of college, I ended up actually getting chlamydia, and it's crazy because I thought of you." Anyway, long story short, I ended up taking Kevin home with me because there's nothing that turns me on more than hearing.
Hey, I can't be the only one. Who else knows people that have killed other people?
Finally, something that I can actually relate to. So my grandma killed her mom, so she killed my great-grandma. It's kind of a crazy story, but back in the 90s, my grandma was over at her house giving her a bath. She was elderly, so my grandma was kind of in charge of taking care of her. During the bath, my grandma brought up the past about how she was abused as a child by one of her stepdads, and her mom then basically admitted to knowing about the abuse, but blamed her for it instead of the stepdad, which sent my grandma into a rage. She ended up drowning my great-grandma, and then after she was dead, instead of calling the police, she cut up her body into 8 different pieces, put them in garbage cans, filled the cans with cement, and then put these garbage cans in different storage units all throughout my hometown where I grew up. When the police were investigating, she lied and said my great-grandma was in Hawaii with this wealthy man she met, and even faked letters from her.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I can do that design. It's too hard for me. I'm sorry. It better be cheaper now. Also now, since it's too hard for you, just do a nude shade. Yeah, that works, but don't use that tone when speaking to me. I thought we were friends. This is just annoying. Okay, does nails. Okay. All done. What are these? I wanted the butterfly. I wanted them to belong to. Yes, but then I said I couldn't do that design because it was too hard, so we both agreed that we were doing short nude. Ugh, I'm not paying. You're so horrible at nails, you're never going anywhere in life.
Part 4 of why you should have one loyal friend instead of having a big group of friends. So I'm on my way home and I get a text from Sally. Hey girl, where are you? We went to the gas station to get some milkshakes. You could have came with, but you were already asleep. I didn't even respond. I just blocked all of them because I know damn well that they were not getting milkshakes. Because one, why didn't they wake me up to get milkshakes? Because I wasn't the first person to fall asleep. I'd never fall asleep first at somebody's house with a big group of people. I saw somebody else who looked like they were sleeping, so I thought that I was going to fall asleep too. Two, why were all those grown ass men there? Nobody told me that they were going to be there. Like I said, we were sophomores. These men were in college. Maybe even graduated from college. They were grown. Three, why would she lie about it being her house? 4, why did the boy say she went home? I remember when I said I kept getting lost because I didn't know the area. Once I went back to look through the messages that I had with those girls to see if there was anything fishy going on, I noticed that they were all sending me different addresses. Either one number would be off or a letter would be off. They definitely were planning something because they were trying to get me there late. I haven't seen or talked to those girls since then.
Storytime. So this one day I needed to go to Walmart, and usually my boyfriend goes with me to the store, but I had made him mad at the same Walmart like 2 days ago. And he was asleep too, so I just decided to go by myself. So while I'm there, I go to the candy aisle, and there's 2 women standing there, but they left, so I was alone in the aisle. As I'm standing there, there's this guy with a scooter who walks into the same aisle, and he looks like the Walmart version of Tyler the Creator. And I see that he's staring at me, but he's not staring at my face. He's staring at the lower half of me. So in my head, I'm like, oh, do I have something on me? Like, does he think my outfit is ugly? So he passes me, and I just hear him say, can you show me your feet? And I just say, no, what the hell? And he just shrugs and walks away. So I start texting my boyfriend to tell him what happened, but then I see him pass the end of the aisle, and he's just staring at my feet, and then he walks away. I had slippers and socks on that day, so there was no way he could see my feet. But he seemed really comfortable asking me, so I wonder how many other people he's asked that before, or like in the store. And even if I was down to show him my feet, I would have charged him. Like, who just shows feet for free?
When I was in grad school, I worked as a tutor for undergrad students where I met my boyfriend who's 5 years younger than me. We had an amazing relationship. However, my parents were a little on the conservative side, and as soon as my mom learned about the age difference and his various tattoos, she was livid. They gave me an ultimatum. I would have to break up with my boyfriend or they would kick me out and stop paying for my education. My boyfriend told me it was okay and that my education was more important. He said we could always get back together after I had my degree, and despite hating it, I agreed with him. We broke up but kept in touch over the next year. We graduated and moved to a city a few hours away where my sister was going to school. 2 years after our breakup, my sister told me she'd been seeing someone for 7 months and sent me a picture. I could not believe my eyes. It was my ex-boyfriend. I texted him asking if it was true and I got no reply. I called my mother, who told me it wasn't a big deal and that they're letting her have her rebellious phase. I avoided my family and threw myself into work thinking this would help me forget. I found out they got engaged through our mother and later received a wedding invitation. The wedding is less than a month away and I'm clearly not over him. I tear up at the thought of watching him say I do to my younger sister. I don't know what the right answer is. Do I smile and stick it out because it's my sister? Prioritize my mental health.
This client's back and we're doing her birthday set. By the way, her name is Chelsea, and if you watched my previous videos, you know that she's had a really rough year so far, but she says her birthday is a new beginning. And yes, she's spending it single this year, but she'll be surrounded by the closest people in her life, and for the first time in a while, she's genuinely happy. And that's all that really matters. I'm getting her nails prepped and ready for gel application, and I only work with her natural nails, so I strengthen them with a rubber base, which makes them last over a month. This specific base is thicker than your average gel base, which allows you to really build that nail structure while also giving the nail some flexibility. She wanted something classy this time, so we went with some neutral white swirls, and I think they came out super cute, finishing off with a top coat and done.
Somebody needs to send me a workout routine to make me look my age, because right now, how old do I look? Just by looking at my body. I have the body of an 11-year-old. I went to go get my nails done at this lady's house last month for my birthday, and then I was like, oh yeah, like I'm doing my nails for my birthday, and she was like, oh, are you 15? My lips are dry. I was like, no, 18, and she sounded so surprised. And then this month, I went to go get my nails done at the nail salon,
This is why you should think twice about making your friend your surrogate. I always knew I wanted to have a few kids. I've dreamt of being a mom for as long as I can remember. However, due to a medical condition, carrying a baby isn't an option for me. I wasn't going to let this stop me, so I started looking into surrogacy. This process was really expensive and a lot harder than I thought. After months of searching, my best friend Ashley volunteered to be my surrogate for me and my fiance. She knew how much we wanted to start a family. I was so excited and extremely grateful. Ashley and I had been friends for 8 years, and I couldn't think of anyone better to be our surrogate. My fiance and I decided to ask Ashley to move in with us so that we could all be there for each other throughout the pregnancy. Everything was going great until it wasn't. Ashley started making a few comments to my fiance that made me really uncomfortable. One night, she asked him to give her a back massage. When he hesitated, she said to him, "I'm carrying your child, you should do whatever I ask you to." I let this comment go, even though it didn't sit right with me. Another night, she referred
Hope you guys liked this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. It does help support us, and let's know what videos you guys want to see.